in the energy exchange. DGCX is another area where they hold 26% in Dubai Commodities Gold Exchange, which also potentially can be sold. But clearly also what does this mean is they will get a new a breather of sorts when it comes to the whole legal battle that they're fighting with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, because it was the MCA petition which wanted to supersede FT board under Section 397 of Companies Act, which was given observations by CLB, and the whole proceedings were stayed till September 2nd. So in that sense, it would be a huge relief. Also, there is a merger proposal draft order which is in public domain of merging scam traded NSCL with FTIL. So looking at all those aspects, it would be a breather of sort for FTIL, which indeed would use this for all its legal battles going forward in various courts.
Fair point that, Vijay. So it has been quite a breather and a very good day coming in for FT, where we saw the stock react as well. Thank you, Vijay, for getting that news for us. And let's talk about some agriculture commodities then, which also have seen a good day there. The chana prices have continued to pick up in domestic demand, and on the back of restricted supplies from producing regions. Should get the chana prices on your screens, because we did see 2.5% of gain yesterday, and it has been 2.5% of a jump up coming in yet again. The edible oil space also has seen good gains. Markets today are awaiting the USDA demand supply estimates on global crop, and traders are expecting USDA to trim the production forecast for soy as well as corn, and that's the reason we did see that reaction for last couple of days. There also have been concerns from China, which has seen soybean buying 50% lower than last year, and that really seems to be putting some pressure there. Natural rubber prices then have been under pressure, trading near 6-week lows following the drop in global prices. There has been a sharp decline in rubber following the decline in crude oil prices, and that has been weighing onto that space. A quick last word on cotton prices, which have seen a bit of a gain now in last 2 weeks on increase in export demand from overseas market. Weak China buying, heavy carry forward stock is expected to keep the prices under pressure. Take a look at the rupee then, and that has been one area that has been quite volatile. Today, though, you saw some gains coming back into the market. There were reports of dollar sales. It has been quite a volatile day before it ended quite flat. Just a peso off a move, and 63.39 is how we have seen the rupee shut down. It also is minutes away from IIP preview for May 2015. The data is expected minutes from now. The estimates say that we are looking at 3.9% versus 4.1% for the month of April. The estimates range between 1.7 to 5.5% though. Let's get on board then. Pramit Brahmbhatt, he joins us live with his sense on the currency space. Pramit, hi, good to have you. First of all, how are you making of what the rupee has been doing in sense of reacting to with coming in for this week?
I think what we have seen with rupee recently, post the election last year, rupee is playing a standalone game, and right now rupee is trading against the Chinese market. So whenever the Chinese market is falling, Indian market is reacting positively to that, and the same effect is coming with the rupee. What we have seen during this week is that the volatility of Greece and the China has not affected rupee very much. So that is pretty much a good story for rupee, because the rupee has managed to avoid the global volatility, as well as the rupee has stronger against, considering the weakness in the global currency during the week.
Pramit, there was a time when markets were almost concerned that we might perhaps be looking at 64.5, even 65 kind of levels, and that really hasn't happened. Relatively, rupee has performed quite well. Would you see a similar kind of trend going forward?
I think so, that what the global players are predicting about the Indian economy is that they are seeing some sort of contractions coming, and expecting GDP number to improve. So that can really trigger the investment by FIs in Indian market, and that can give us a good dollar inflow. So it seems like that going ahead, rupee is going to get stronger, barring any sort of unnatural movement coming in the crude or the global uncertainty. But it seems that the Indian economy is going to play the major role in the strong rupee.
Pramit, what's your sense on what global cues we would be looking at? Because the euro has rebounded even as Greece continues to be in the core area of problem there. And also markets are looking at on what China seems to be doing. So while emerging market currencies have been weaker, the rupee has held on its own. Do you see the rupee continue to trade firmer, isolated of the global cues?
I think we have to look at three different events when we talk about the rupee and the global cues. One is the Greece, another is the US, and the third one is the Chinese market. Greece is more like a sentimental effect. I think that has very less effect on the Indian rupee, or negligible, or maybe a no effect. When we look at the Chinese market, I think any negative news from China indirectly helping Indian rupee, because the way Chinese government has reacted to the stock trading, it is showing some sort of a panic in the Chinese market. Also, the weakness in the Chinese market help crude to come down, as well as the base metal to reduce. So that is also helping the rupee. Now, when we look at the US market, the US numbers, jobless numbers are very poor yesterday, and we have to see how the Fed chairperson is going to come up with her comments today. If she is still a little bit cautious about the interest rate rise, then it means there will be some sort of a sharp correction in dollar globally, and that will help rupee. So overall, it seems like that there is a positive bias towards rupee, considering even the global cues.
All right, Pramit, we'll let you go at that. Thank you so much for joining us. So that's the view coming in for the currency, really. Even as there have been concerns and high volatile moves in the global markets, the Indian rupee really has held on its strength, and we seem to be closing the week on a rather a positive basis as well. Today, of course, has been a flat day. 63.39 is how the rupee shut shop today. But minutes from now, we are awaiting the IIP numbers, and the ET Now poll estimates May IIP at 3.9% versus 4.1% for the month of April. Let's get in. Shubhda Rao, Chief Economist. Yes,